Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. Joe here with Two for Gun and Armory, and today's video is the fifth and final video assignment for FTH 223, which is the hammer-fired subcourse of the Handgun Specialist curriculum at Sonoran Desert Institute. Today is April 23rd, 2026, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and today we're going to be going over the Sarcomaz B6 and other components outside of the fire control group that you can polish and stone and get operating a little bit smoother to improve the overall performance of the firearm. With that being said, got to make sure that the area is safe to work on. There's no live ammunition anywhere in the workspace. The feed source has been removed and there is no live ammunition in it. And visually and physically inspect the chamber, and there is no live ammunition in the chamber, and this firearm is safe and ready to be worked on. With that being said, let's get started. So the first part of this assignment is to go through and analyze different parts of the firearm that we haven't already polished that could still be hanging up on other parts. Maybe the tolerances are tight and therefore you have some components that are maybe arresting other components and not allowing them to move as smoothly as they could be. And some of the parts we're going to look at today are going to be the slide, specifically the rails. When it comes to the rails, that is what interacts directly with the frame. And so you're going to look at the frame too, and where the housings are, the front and rear house. The top of the front rear house is where the bottom of the slide is going to rub across, and then the inside of that rail on the front and rear is going to be where the sides of the slide rail are going to slide into. So we're going to look at that definitely, getting those polished and stoned and get them smooth. But another thing we want to look at is the hammer face. So the hammer is spring loaded, as you can see, and so it's constantly that spring is putting tension upward on it. So when you move the slide to the rear, and this is going to be a little bit janky because I don't have the barrel in at the moment, but you can see it moves rather smoothly up to the point in which it hits the hammer. And then once the hammer makes contact with the underneath of the slide, you start getting a lot of tension, and it's a lot more rigid in the movement. So we're going to look at stoning and polishing the face of the hammer, as well as I'm going to do some more research on it because it's already very polished, but where the hammer slides against on the actual slide itself is already super polished. So I don't really want to remove anything there. Maybe a light polish, but where you want to look, this rear plate you can see has some scuffing already because of that hammer, so you definitely want to get that piece as well. For the barrel feed ramp is already super polished. I could probably get up, you can see right in there right before the chamber starts, you can see that there's an area that's not super polished. We could probably polish that up a little bit, and then stoning the sides of where the linkage goes, because that slides directly in this front house like so. Let me get a better view of it for you. So it's going to slide right in here, and so we're going to want to stone the inside of the front house as well as the outsides of this right here, and then also where the bottom is right here where it rubs against it. So those are the areas that we're going to focus on today, and I'm hopeful that when all the work is done, we have a much smoother operating firearm. That is my hypothesis. So that being said, we're going to move on to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble everything, do the work, come back and show the results. All right, so as you can see, I have applied layout dye to all of the different components that we're going to be working with today. I'm going to reassemble this firearm and run it through the cycle of operations a few times and see where we sit, see any markings, observe, and assess. So now that we've cycled it multiple times and taken it back apart, we can look at the bluing and actually get a visual on where the culprit actually lies. Starting with the slide, there's not too much on the slide. You see a little bit of rub there where it interacts with the front house, but I don't think that the front slide is the problem, because there is all sorts of new wear on the front house itself. Let's see if I can get it better. On the front house itself, where parts are rubbing together, that could be smoothed out. Specifically, right here up front, which is where the barrel linkage goes in, and that barrel tilts downwards when you fire. So where the bottom of the barrel and the sides interact with the front house right here, that definitely needs to be worked on. The rear house has next to no rubbing on it, so that tells me that that's not an issue. Really, no work needs to be done on that from this objective. And lastly, we have the hammer, and as suspected, the hammer is very rubbed right here, which, you know, we thought that might happen. And the corresponding spot on the slide, that rear plate, as well as, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there is some bluing that has actually been rubbed and smeared going as far forward as right here. So we're definitely going to get to work on stoning and polishing these parts, and after that is done, I'll share the results. All right, so we're back. The stoning and polishing is complete. As I said before, I focused heavily on the front house and the linkage area of the barrel, where I thought that the most of the rubbing was happening. And I made sure to hit inside that little hole right there, because that'll make things so much smoother when actually trying to cycle. In addition to that, I did hit the hammer and got that polished, as well as the corresponding piece on the rear plate. And the slide I left alone. The slide didn't show any signs of any kind of rubbing or anything, so I left that alone. And I barely hit. There was one burr that you could actually feel on the back house right here that I stoned down, and then I made sure to get the rails as well, but nothing too heavy there. Now that we've done the work and reassembled the firearm, making sure we're staying safe, we can reassess the feel. So if you remember at the beginning, I said that it felt smooth through about 80% of it, but then as it started dragging the hammer, it kind of felt like it was fighting back a little bit. So polished up the hammer, polished up the corresponding part on the rear plate, and made things a lot smoother. Also, all of the work that I did to the front house makes it a whole lot smoother throughout. That tension you're seeing is actually the recoil spring, still working with a factory recoil spring. But overall, the work I did really helped with the smooth cycling and making sure all of those burrs are taken care of and everything's running smoothly on this firearm. As far as accomplishing the task without changing geometries or otherwise making the firearm unsafe, I was able to do that by going slow. I've said it in previous videos: slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You can always take material off. You can't put material back on. So it's important to go slow. Check your work periodically if you feel like you're getting close. And with that being said, I was able to accomplish the task by doing just that. In closing, I feel confident in my abilities to do this type of work for customers. In this video, we didn't do anything as far as modifying the fire control group in any way. So that kind of stuff aside, you're not really looking at any potential legal ramifications or anything from doing this type of work for a customer. So I would not shy away from doing it for a customer. And as we've seen in this video, the knowledge is there, the ability is there, and I feel confident in my ability to do this job for customers. That said, bring on the business. I want to thank all of you for watching this video. Once again, my name's Joe at Teufel Gun and Armory. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel, and I'll see y'all next time.